Welcome back. No, I'm only kidding. So Division 1 quarterfinals are done. And your boy got all 4 games in the predictions correct. So I'm happy about that. So we got those predictions right. They are looking absolutely outstanding. But let's get into it. So we had East Kilbride versus Northumberland Vikings, and East Kilbride won 42-6. And then we had Leicester Falcons beating the Chester Romans 44-19. We had the Cambridge Cats beating Wembley Stallions 35-14. And we have the Hertfordshire Cheetahs beating the Rushmore Knights 21-12. Now, again, I did do a recording and it got corrupted, so I gotta remember everything I said before. But, we're gonna look at the East Kilbride versus Leicester Falcons first. But I believe it will be Leicester Falcons that will be at home, and East Kilbride will be travelling to Leicester. Just because Leicester Falcons had the best record going into the pre-season. Now, let's talk about East Kilbride for a second here. East Kilbride scored 370 odd points throughout the whole 11 games, and they conceded about 88 points throughout that time. Now, again, we can look at that and say, oh, East Kilbride are a better team. They're in a harder division. They're going to do numbers and they're going to do bits. Now, yes, that is true. The teams that East Kilbride seem to have gone up against have been a lot harder to play. Given the fact that all the teams in the Division 1 North, they all scored at least over 100 points. So that is something. But 3 teams conceded over 400 points in that division. 1 team conceded under 200, and the 2 teams that made the playoffs only conceded under 100 points. So there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes on that situation. So now we look at the Leicester Falcons. Leicester Falcons went 10-0 in the Division 1 South. Division 1 South, I don't know how they do it. I just go with it. So they've scored, they scored about 460 plus points throughout the 11 games. And they've conceded about 100 points actually over the 11 games, because if I'm not correct, Chester Romans scored... How much does Chester Romans score again? They scored 19. So yes, Leicester Falcons actually did concede over 100 points over the span of 11 games. Now, looking at that division, the Division 1 South, you have 4 teams that scored over 100 points. 3 teams that scored over 300 points. You have 1 team that scored 100, just about almost 150, but then you had 2 teams that didn't even get close to 80 points. You have 1 team on 65 and 1 team on 30. But then when you look at the defensive side, you have 2 teams that conceded 300 points, 2 teams that conceded 200 points, 1 team that scored 145, and then you have Leicester Falcons who conceded 84. Well, not 84, but 100. So, you got that aspect. So the 2 different divisions, one's a powerhouse division, one is the defensive is lacking, one and that doesn't have great offense in there. So again, looking at the matchup of Leicester Falcons versus East Kilbride is really, really going to be very interesting. It could be a bloody shootout. It could be a shootout, this game. This game could be probably the best shootout that would happen in the playoffs at this moment in time. Just for the fact that both teams have scored so many points, they've conceded so little. and it just could literally turn out to be a game that could either be a game that ends 40-something, or it could end up being 21-14. It could. The dynamics of this game is going to be very interesting, and because Leicester Falcons obviously have the best record, they will play at home. So home field advantage is going to be very crucial for the home team. Because as you know, in the quarterfinals, all the home teams won. So Leicester Falcons playing at home gives them a big boost. I'm sure East Kilbride will probably travel down on the Saturday night, so they don't have to wake up early on Sunday to travel down to play. So they're going to be most likely very prepared, or they spend 2 nights down in Leicester, travel down Friday night, then they spend the rest of Saturday just resting and relaxing. But again, the winners of this game, Leicester versus East Kilbride, is very difficult to say. I'm going to be honest, it's going to be very difficult for me to say. But I am actually going to go with the Leicester Falcons to win this game. I think that the Leicester Falcons will just have that much more of an offensive prowess. They have more, just that bit more. And their defense probably will be able to uphold East Kilbride for at least 2 drives, get a turnover or get a 3 and out multiple times. But again, it could come down to a pick 6 in this game. This game could come down to one mental error and it just blows the game out of the water. It's going to be difficult, but my bet is on Leicester Falcons to win this game by at least a touchdown or a field goal. I don't see it being a blowout at all, but that's where I'm going with this game in hand. So yeah, now we're gonna talk about the Cheetahs versus Cambridge in a second, and let's just talk about that quarterfinals game. So that both home teams again won. The Hertfordshire Cheetahs obviously had to change locations again. They had to change locations due to situations at the home grounds, no water, so you couldn't play there. But the Rushmore Knights obviously took that as an offence and started to go onto instant Facebook and everything, calling them kitty cats and doing all of this and all of that. It's kind of childish, if I'm gonna be honest. It's a very childish behaviour sort of situation. But everyone showed up for the game, and the Hertfordshire Cheetahs actually balled out. Bear in mind, the first 3 quarters were good. There was a lot of turnovers, passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, and yeah, it was a good game. I have to admit, it was a good game, and the footage for that game will be out hopefully by the end of the week. I'm hopefully gonna get it out by Thursday. But Hertfordshire Cheetahs had enough to take that win and run away with it, and Rushmore Knights just didn't have an answer. They had no kicker, so we can say that they didn't have their kicker. And they did try to basically do the exact same plays over and over again. There was no sort of creativity with the offensive plays. It was just, it was sort of the same 8-6 plays that they kept doing throughout the game, and it kind of got to a point where you sort of figured things out. But yeah, they tried onside kicks. They didn't have an actual proper kicker to kick kickoffs. They went for 2s when they did score touchdowns. Yeah. There's a lot of things that need to happen at Rushmore Knights. They need to get themselves a kicker. They need to get themselves a holder. And, they just need to stop relying on simple plays. They need to start thinking of more different things. But the game was really good. Obviously, Cheetahs went in and they won it 21-12. One big play that the Rushmore Knights did have is that their number 4, John Simon, did get a pick 6 for 85 yards late in the 4th quarter, which did boost Rushmore Knights' energy, but it was obviously too late in the game to make that much of a difference. Now Cambridge Cats, basically they took the defeat that they had to the Wembley Stallions a couple of weeks ago and paid the Wembley Stallions back for that loss. They came in strong. They came in fast from what I'm seeing with everything online, the social media, looking at the Cambridge Cats social media throughout the game. They did what they had to do. They came in, they came and they saw and they conquered. And they are in the semi-finals. Now, if I'm not correct, both teams, do they have the same record? That I will just have to check real quickly because I don't think they do. No, Cheetahs finished 8-2. Damn, they do have the same record. Cheetahs finished 8-2. Cats finished 8-2. So who's playing at home? I think the team that would be playing at home would be the Hertfordshire Cheetahs. Hertfordshire Cheetahs will be playing at home because of the scores against. Hey, that's how it is, isn't it? Scores against, they have the better record, they have the better scores, so that's what I'm guessing that's what the case is. But this game now should be interesting. I think this game will be very defense, a lot more defensively than anything else. The Hertfordshire Cheetahs don't score a lot of points, but when they do get a couple scores up, that defense just turns it on. Their front seven is actually really good. They know when to get crazy. They know when to work when they're blitzing. They just have the right sort of. I don't even know what to call it, to be honest. But they just work. It just works. Their front four outstanding defensive players. They are always in the backfield from what I saw from the weekend's game, and they can do their bits. Now for Cambridge Cats, their offense is their key. I'm unsure about the defense as a whole, as they have conceded 152 points in a division where most of their teams have actually scored pretty well. Again, both come from quality standard divisions. In both the divisions, there wasn't really a team that took over. There wasn't a team that was just running away with the division. In the Cheetahs division, you have 3 teams that had the chance to make playoffs. And in the Cats division, you had 3 teams that could make the playoffs. So it was there for anyone in the taking, but the Cats just had that bit more strength than everyone else. Their offensive prowess, they scored 316 points. So that definitely says something about the team. But conceding 152 was the 4th best defense in that division. They were 4th in that division for defense. Now, again, that does mean something significant just for the fact that your defense isn't that great, but your offense is amazing. Yeah, exactly. Your offense is great, your defense isn't great. Now, I could say the same for Cambridge, I could say the same thing for Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire's offense wasn't great. They only just broke 200 points from the playoff game. But they have kept their defense has kept their scoring against them down. Now, they were the 2nd best defense in their division after the Bournemouth Bobcats. Shout out to Bournemouth Bobcats having the best defense in the NF Division 1 West. Shout out to them. But again, I digress. Right. So in this game, Hertfordshire Cheetahs versus Cambridge Cats, you could look at it as in a defensive game, but I feel that if one team probably gets a turnover, which in my eyes, I think it would be Hertfordshire Cheetahs that will get this win. It would be special for them, as it would be probably their first time coming up to, coming up to the Premiership for the first time in their franchise history. And it will be something amazing. And if you haven't already, watch Unheard Voice episode 21 and 22 and 23 obviously and 24 when they come out. Slide plug, yeah. But you'll be listening to one of Hertfordshire Cheetahs' captain, and you just hear everything that he's gone throughout the whole time. And where you can see where Hertfordshire Cheetahs' goals are, is there. But in my eyes, it's good. It's a tough one. It is a tough one deciding who will win this game and who will get promoted. But in my eyes, I am actually going with the Hertfordshire Cheetahs once again. Just for the fact that I feel that their defense is a lot better than Cambridge. Their offense isn't as high powered as you'd want a team that's coming up to the division, that would potentially be coming up to the Premiership. But I feel that on any given day, they're not going to let any offense score on them in an easy way. Although they did let Rushmore Knights score that one touchdown, but that was it. Rushmore Knights only scored one touchdown, and the other touchdown was obviously a defensive pick six. So, yeah, I'm giving it to Hertfordshire Cheetahs. This will be definitely a very, very tight game. I'm giving this game by a field goal. Hertfordshire Cheetahs will win it by a field goal, and that will push them up, obviously, to go to the finals. That will be on the 3rd or the 4th of September. And there we go. So I have the Leicester Falcons versus Hertfordshire Cheetahs in the Brit Bowl final to be crowned Division 1 champions. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And this weekend in the Division 1 is very crucial because whoever wins, you go to the Premiership. It's all or nothing right now. It is all or nothing. I hope you all stay great. If you believe my comments are wrong, if you don't agree with it, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you believe is going to win this game. And yeah, we will find out from 6 p.m. on Sunday who will be in the finals and who has been promoted to the Premiership. Thank you all for jumping in, and I hope you have a great day. See you later.